I remember one person asking me, he said, what, besides Ayatul Kursi and Surah Fatiha and the four Quls, I want a powerful verse from the Quran. I'm like, brother, you have missed the point. Why do you think Surah Fatiha is so well known? Because we hear this surah every day, we read it every day, but we take it for granted. Surah Fatiha, the Prophet ﷺ says, is Ummul Quran. It's the mother of the Quran. If you study the tafsir and the commentary of Surah Fatiha, the first chapter in the Quran, the Mufassirin and commentators of the Quran tells us that the entire Quran is compact into Surah Fatiha, the barakat of it. And the one verse of Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, just to say Allah guide us on the right path, that hidayah, that dua in Surah Fatiha is so powerful that it has compact within the entire Quran. A lot of us, because we hear it and it's recited, we don't take it seriously. You know, Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi, and a hadith based on a hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that the salah is not accepted without Surah Fatiha. If you forget Surah Fatiha in your rak'ah, the salah is not valid. Imam Abu Hanifa still says as long as you read 3 verses of the Quran in your surah, it's not the tartib, it's not the sunnah, but the salah is still valid. You know, the Prophet ﷺ has also said that gathering where people gather and Surah Fatiha and salutation is not sent on the Prophet ﷺ, that gathering is not blessed. He didn't say read the whole Quran, just Surah Fatiha. So a lot of us take these things for granted. You know, the Qul Huwallahu Ahad, the Prophet ﷺ says Surah Ikhlas. Once he told the Sahabas about reading the Quran before sleeping, and they were like, how could we read the entire Quran before sleeping? And he said, if you read Surah Ikhlas, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Qul Huwallahu Ahad 3 times, you get the blessings of the barakat of reading the entire Quran. Because when you read it once, you get the blessings of 1/3 of the Quran. So the point I'm getting at here, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to refer to these other examples, that a lot of times we take, Qul Huwallahu, Surah Fatiha, Darul Sharif, we hear that all the time, so we don't take it seriously. You know, life is like that. You know why? One example of cows, you know the famous saying about the grass is always greener on the other side? Because the cows normally don't look at their own grass, they always look at the grass in the neighbor's yard next door. So the neighbor's cow come into your grass and your cow go into their grass. Meaning, you see, the things that we always have, we don't appreciate it. And that happens a lot. It's a regular thing. With insan, with human beings. It happens in your own life, in your business, in your home, in your family. Something that you may not admire in your home, or you may not recognize and appreciate, other people appreciate. Sometimes you will not appreciate your own wife or your husband or your children, and other people would admire them and appreciate them. Interesting. Sometimes you may have something in your office. You may not even read it, or someone comes into your office and, wow, what a beautiful quotation. The point I'm getting at, you know, insan, human beings, sometimes we're very strange. We don't know to appreciate things. Anyhow, last week, so we were all about Alhamdulillah, praises to Allah. Today, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, a lot of times people, we only read Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim when we begin the Quran. A lot of people only recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim when we begin to recite the Quran. Because we believe that Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim begins the chapter of the Quran. So we recite it. Other than that, we go into our cars, we open the door in our business, we walk out here, we go there, we do things. We don't even say Bismillah. Because we take it for granted. To begin in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. In the Holy Quran, we know there are 114 chapters of the Quran. And out of all these chapters of the Quran, every chapter, you will notice at the beginning of it, you see Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Except Surah Tawbah, chapter 9. You don't have a Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. But it's interesting enough to know that even though you have 114 chapters of the Quran, and everyone begins with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim at the top, except Surah Tawbah, some Mufassirin and commentators have said we still have 114 Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim in the Quran. Because if you go into Surah Namal, the chapter we spoke about last week, there is in verse 30, chapter 27, verse 30, Allah has into it Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And we will share that in the second khutbah, inshallah, a little later on, bi'ithnillah. Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi, and some ulama, some scholars of the opinion that every chapter begins with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Let me emphasize a little different on that. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, according to some of the A'imma, is part of the chapter. Meaning that Surah Fatiha does not begin with Alhamdulillah, but it begins with Bismillah. Meaning that Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is part of the surah. Some other ulama and A'imma say, no, it's not part of the surah, but it begins the surah. All right. That's one point on Bismillah. Another aspect of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is when you begin the Quran, of course we are commanded to begin with A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, and then every chapter you begin, you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So a lot of us, yes, we do that and we practice that. So that is not what we're talking about, and that's what I just said a little while ago. That's what most of us only do, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, when we read Quran. It's like, only when we come to the masjid, we Muslims, when we're in the businesses and we're home, our lifestyle is detached from Islam. We have a different style. Bismillah is when we read Quran. But when we do things in our daily life, we don't say Bismillah. Well, the Islamic guidelines towards reciting Bismillah and the fadail of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is that anything we do, we should attach and begin it by attaching Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim to it. That's one connection. Secondly, when we do things, and this is with the intention now, you make the intention to recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim to begin what you do. Another intention that you can use for Bismillah is when you are doing something and you want to get barakat. And let's say a lady is cooking food and she's got a little bit of something. She's not sure if this is going to last enough. The husband eats a lot of food and a couple of the kids do eat more than the husband. So she's like, this wouldn't be enough. So she deliberately says Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim so that she will get barakat in what she's doing. So another attachment of Bismillah is for barakat. And another connection, that an intention that you use Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim according to the Mufassirin and the commentators on Bismillah, let's say you start in your car. You jump into your car. It doesn't start. Now, you have another thing. You forgot to say Bismillah, right, Brother Amin? So now you go say Bismillah. So that's one, because you forgot to begin what you were going to do with Bismillah. But another intention for Bismillah is to make the intention to get the assistance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you in what you're going to do. So now you want to help. Allah, please, this car got to start. I'm going to reach to work very late. Bismillah. I really want it to work. For assistance and help from Allah. So besides reading Bismillah to begin your Quran as a connection to the chapters, as Muslims in our daily life, my brothers and sisters, we should make Bismillah part of our life. As we spoke on the Fadail of Alhamdulillah last week, and the whole life of Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, and how he was always about Alhamdulillah and praises to Allah, we should always attach Bismillah, either to begin something, and also with the intention for assistance in what we're doing, and also for the barakat in what we're doing.